Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're diving into one of Vietnam's most epic and beloved legends, the story of Saint Giong, a hero born in the most extraordinary of circumstances. Our story begins during the era of the HNG kings. In a quiet village, an old woman lived a simple life. One morning, while tending to her eggplant field, she was stunned to find a giant footprint had trampled her plants. My goodness, whose foot could possibly be this big? She wondered aloud. Driven by curiosity, she placed her own small foot inside the massive print. The moment she did, a strange shiver ran through her entire body. Shortly after, she discovered she was with child. In time, she gave birth to a beautiful, chubby boy whom she named Jot. But this was no ordinary child. By the time he turned 3, Jong had never sat up, never crawled, never spoken a single word, or even laughed. He simply lay where he was, eating and growing, a silent presence in his mother's home. It was a dark time for the kingdom. The ruthless invaders were sweeping across the land, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The HNG King's army fought bravely, but they were no match for the invaders. Desperate, the king sent messengers far and wide, searching for a hero who could save the nation from certain doom. One fateful day, a royal messenger arrived in Jong's village, his voice booming with the king's plea for help. As Jong's mother gently rocked her silent son, she sighed and said jokingly, "Oh, my dear child, you are so slow to speak and walk. When will you ever be strong enough to help our king fight the enemy?" To her absolute astonishment, Jong turned his head, looked directly at her, and spoke his very first words. "Mother," he said, his voice clear and steady, "please invite the messenger here to see me." His mother was a whirlwind of emotions, joy, shock, and a little bit of fear. She scrambled out of the house, calling for her neighbors to come and see the miracle. A crowd gathered, buzzing with disbelief. Finally, someone suggested, "Well, let's just invite the messenger in. What harm could it do?" When the royal messenger stepped inside, he saw the 3-year-old boy lying there. Skeptical, he asked, "You, a little boy who has only just spoken, why did you call for me?" Zhong, with a firmness that defied his age, replied, "Go back and tell the king to forge me an iron horse, an iron sword, an iron suit of armor, and an iron helmet. With them I will drive the enemy away." Everyone who heard his words was left speechless. They knew this was no ordinary child. A divine spirit had come to their aid. The messenger, his heart pounding with excitement, raced back to the capital to report the incredible news to the king. Overjoyed and filled with renewed hope, King HNG immediately commanded all the blacksmiths in the kingdom to gather iron, day and night. They worked, forging the massive weapons and armor Jong had requested. The final creations were so immense that it took dozens of strong men just to lift the sword, and thousands of soldiers were needed to transport everything to Giong's village. When Jong's mother saw the massive procession of soldiers approaching, she started to panic. "My son, what have you done?" she cried. "This is a royal command, not a child's game. What are we going to do?" Giong simply sat up in his bed and said calmly, "Mother, do not worry about the battle. Just give me plenty to eat." His mother rushed to cook rice, but as soon as she finished a pot, Giong devoured it in a single gulp. He ate pot after pot, and with every bite, he grew bigger and stronger. The more he ate, the faster he grew, transforming from a small boy into a towering young man right before her eyes. Soon, all the rice in their home was gone. His mother called out to the villagers for help, and they responded without hesitation. They brought everything they had: dry sweet potatoes, buffalo meat, fruit, and cakes, piling the offerings high in the yard. But no matter how much they gave him, Giong ate it all and still asked for more. Just then, the soldiers arrived, struggling under the weight of the iron horse, sword, and armor. Giong rose to his full height, now a true giant. He stretched his mighty limbs, donned the iron armor, and swung himself onto the iron horse. The moment he did, the metal steed let out a deafening neigh and breathed fire from its nostrils. Grasping the colossal sword as if it were a feather, Giong charged toward the battlefield. He was a force of nature. Wherever his iron horse galloped, it spat fire, incinerating entire enemy battalions. His sword swung in glittering arcs, cutting down foes like stalks of wheat. The once invincible army, which had brought the kingdom to its knees, scattered in terror before this lone, divine warrior. In the heat of the fiercest fighting, Giong's iron sword suddenly shattered. But he didn't falter for a second. Without hesitation, he reached down and uprooted entire bamboo from the roadside. Wielding the bamboo like a mighty club, he continued his relentless assault, crushing the remaining invaders. The enemy was completely annihilated, and peace was finally restored to the land. But Giong's mission was not over. He didn't return to his village or seek any reward from the king. Instead, he rode his iron horse straight to the peak of Esi Mountain. There, as the people watched in awe, both rider and horse slowly ascended into the clouds and vanished into the heavens. All that remained were his legendary footprints on the land and the bent bamboo forests that bore witness to his incredible power. From that day forward, the people of Vietnam have revered him as a god. Saint Giong, the heavenly general who descended to earth to save his people in their darkest hour. His legend is a timeless symbol of patriotism, courage, and the miraculous strength that can arise when a nation is in peril. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey into Vietnamese mythology. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more legends from around the world. We'll see you in the next video.